Hi everyone, it's me, Mia, and I'm here talking to you from my little apartment in Chicago. It's late, at least past midnight, and the city outside of my window is all quiet, just the hum of the streetlights and that distant train rumble. I didn't sleep last night, so I figured I'd share something that's been weighing on me heavily. Get a blanket and maybe some tea and sit down, because this one's serious. It's called I Found My Face in an AI ad I never approved. And I swear to you, if you ever had your trust broken in a way that absolutely blindsided you, this might hit home. Okay, let's just dive in. Imagine this. You're mindlessly scrolling on your phone one lazy Sunday afternoon, liking food pics of your friends' brunches and cute doggies, when suddenly, there you are. Your own face, smiling back at you out of an ad for some upscale skincare regimen that you've never so much as tried. Smiling the exact same smile you smile when you're totally, absolutely delighted, with the tiny little wrinkle at the corners of your eyes. But you hadn't consented to it. You hadn't approved it. And your heart drops like a boulder into your stomach. That's how it went for me. 7 seconds of pure shock that spun my world around. What on earth was going on? Stick around, because the tale of it? It's love, it's lies, and learning to stand up for yourself. It began about a year ago when I was lost. I just celebrated my 28th birthday, working this dead-end job at a coffee shop downtown, flooding lattes, and waiting for something better. You recall that time life was just meh? No epic quests, no bubbles. I was swiping through dating apps one night, left swiping through the usual crop of dudes, the gym dudes and the live laugh love ones, when I matched with Jordan. His picture showed this preposterous picture of him hiking through the Rockies, wind in his hair, that perfect smile like he cared not a whit in the world. His profile said he was a tech kind of guy who liked AI and coding, but also old movies and spontaneous road trips. Looking for someone to share sunsets and terrible puns with, it said. I laughed out loud, finally, a man who did not take himself seriously. We started conversing right away. Hey Mia, I saw you enjoy photography. What's the best picture you've ever taken? He texted. Simple, but it surprised me. I told him there's this one picture I shot at Lake Michigan during the morning. Water was all glassy and pink because of the sun rising. He replied with a picture of his own, a mountain sunset, and said, yours wins. That light? Magic. It was easy, you know? No games, just real talk. Our initial date was at this little indie bookstore cafe in Wicker Park. I got there early, fidgeting with my scarf, wondering if maybe I'd built him up too much in my head. But when he walked in, lanky and gangly with the same smile, carrying this battered old paperback of The Great Gatsby because I'd told him I loved classics. Yeah, my jitters melted away. We talked for hours about how he'd grown up in a small town in Colorado, toying with computers as a kid, and how I'd longed to see the world, but never had the guts. You're braver than you know, he said, looking into my eyes over our cups of coffee. I was heard, you guys. Like, he got the actual me and not the surface. It developed from there, rapidly but continuously, like a soft, smoldering flame that consumes you from the inside out. We'd hang out together after work, him taking me home in his vintage Jeep, listening to indie folk records as we cruised through the city. One night, we ended up at Navy Pier, watching the Ferris wheel lights rotate against the dark sky. He took my hand softly, no pressure, looking at me and saying, Mia, it's like finally debugging a code that's been glitchy forever. I smiled, but in my heart my flip-flops were overturning. He was thoughtful like that, always merging his tech world with these beautiful, poetic moves. Weeks gave way to months, and we grew deeper. I'd confide my doubts, how I felt trapped in my work, how I feared I'd never do anything with my photography as a hobby. He'd hear me out, actually hear me out, combing his fingers through my hair as we sat on his couch. You have talent, Mia. Your pictures capture feelings most others don't even notice. He'd urge me to post more of them online, even assisted me in getting a small Instagram for my photos. And then he'd tell me what he did. Jordan was a solo AI engineer, building models for companies, things such as virtual assistants or picture creators. It's like getting a computer to dream, he'd say with his face lighting up. I never caught all the geek speak, but I loved watching him get so stoked. It made me feel like we were doing something real, a synergy where we were feeding off each other. We started sharing more personal things too. Photos, mostly. I'd send him selfies of me on my walks around the block, blown out hair by the lake, or silly ones with foam mustaches from coffee at work. He'd respond with heart emojis and "you're beautiful." We rode one weekend driving through to Michigan, the two of us and a mixtape. We stopped over here at this beach resort, my boyfriend pulling out his phone to take pictures of me building sandcastles like a kid. For the memories, he breathed, pecking kisses on my forehead. I felt so safe with him, so cherished. Like, this is what love's supposed to feel like, right? To be able to trust someone with your vulnerability, your looks, your heart. But looking back, there were these tiny cracks that I hadn't quite noticed before. Little things that made me pause, but I'd brush them aside because, come on, nobody's perfect. Such as, he'd get intensely interested in taking photos of me, beyond your average snapshots. Turn your head this way, Mia. The lighting's fantastic for expression shots. He'd say it was for kicks or to help my photography skills, but at times it seemed a bit intense. And he was secretive about his work projects. Client confidentiality. He'd rationalize with a smile when I'd probe him on what he was coding late one evening. I once took a peek at his computer monitor when he was in the shower, rows of code, and what looked like facial recognition patterns. It kind of freaked me out, but I reassured myself it was just his profession. Why would I accuse him of something? He was the man who brought me soup when I was ill, who surprised me with tickets to attend a photo show. We were fine. Or so I thought. As things progressed further, those instances started piling up and I began to question. We'd be at a party with friends, and he'd pull out his phone and try an app by scanning my face. Just messing around with some AI filters, he'd laugh. My friends would tease, "Jordan is making Mia a digital diva." But on the inside, I'd feel this weird tinge like, is this all right? One evening, we were having dinner at his house, pasta bubbling on the stovetop, when his phone buzzed with an email from work. He glanced at it and shoved it aside with a snap, his face tightening. "Okay," I asked, stirring the sauce. "Just a deadline thing," he grunted, turning to our next date plan. I let it drop, but that evening, as I slept beside him, my brain ran wild. Why the secrecy? Was he keeping something from his past life? Or perhaps work-related stress was getting to him? I pushed those thoughts aside, onto the positives, how he'd tell me "I love you" in the morning, how we'd spend hours brainstorming crazy future vacations like sleeping outside among the stars. But all those doubts gnawed, that sticky scab at the back of my mind, and I couldn't help but wonder if I was simply paranoid. And then the midpoint, the bolt out of left field, crashing into me like a freight train. It was a month ago last Tuesday, just me sitting on my couch after a long day, scrolling blankly through Instagram. Ads popped up as normal, shoes, cosmetics, the usual garbage. And then, there it was, an ad for this new AI-powered beauty app, Glow Up. Discover your perfect skin with tailored routines, it claimed. And the face? Mine. Not someone like Mimi. My face, with the same freckled map on my nose, that same hazel sparkle in my eyes, just as it had in photos I'd sent Jordan from our beach trip. I was parading the app, smiling as virtual makeup applied itself flawlessly. My hands grew cold. I rewound the commercial, pausing on the shots. It was unreal, my own features, how my lips curved when I laughed. But I'd never posed for anything. Never signed a release form. My belly grew knotted up in a ball. How? Who? I sat there for what felt like hours, gazing at my phone, shallow breathing. Inner voice flooded. This must be a glitch. A bug. A weird coincidence. But I knew it wasn't, in my gut. The ad was targeted to the app site, and I was back there again, in demo videos, my face digitally manipulated to show before and after makeovers. It wasn't a photo, it was like they'd captured my aura, my gestures. A panicked flush in my chest. I was exposed, like someone had peeled back my skin without asking. Who gets to see this? Strangers? My family? My boss? Tears filled my eyes as I pleaded with myself, this can't be real. But it was. And the bad news? A nagging voice in my head just pointed straight to Jordan. His work on AI, the pictures, the secrecy, it all added up in the worst possible way. The emotional collapse came slowly, like a wave from out at sea that eventually crashed on shore. I didn't confront him right away. I spiraled alone that night, pacing in my tiny apartment, the city lights flashing behind the blinds like accusing eyes. I replayed every moment of our time together in my head, the good now tainted. Had he been toying with me all along? Those photos I submitted in good faith, were they just data for his purposes? I sat on the floor, hugging my knees, tears streaming in gentle waves. It wasn't betrayal, it was abuse. My face, myself, out there for the world to sell without me being able to say a thing. I was small, powerless, like I'd been disassembled into pixels and code. How could he? I complained to the vacant space, brushing at tears with my sleeve. Flashing images, him praising me for my pictures, saying I was perfect at capturing true emotions. Had the whole thing been staged? The pain piled layer by layer, shock first, anger next, and then this hollow inside me, this grief for the love I thought we'd had. The following day, I phoned in an excuse to work, my voice shaking. I explored further online, looking into AI deepfakes and image ownership. It turns out that it's freaking simple to train models from someone's pictures when you have loads of them. There were countless posts similar to mine, faces pilfered for ads, apps, even digital influencers. It made me feel less isolated, but no less aggrieved. By the evening, I couldn't keep it in. I sent Jordan a text message, "We need to talk." Now. He came to my door an hour later, his face confused, a bouquet of daisies clutched in his hand, my favorite. "What's wrong, babe?" he asked, stepping inside. I didn't play games. I jammed my phone into his face, the ad looping over and over. "Explain this." His face turned white, his eyes wide. He stuttered, "Mia, it's not what you think." But sitting on the couch, his head in his hands, the truth spilled out. He was writing a contract for Glow Up, creating their AI facial recognition. To make it realistic, he used photos of me without asking. "I anonymized them," he pleaded, his voice. "It was just testing. I didn't know it'd go public like this." "Anonymized?" My face was right in front of them. "You stole from me, Jordan," I said to him, my voice trembling. "Those photos were personal, given in love. You commodified them." He tried to hug me, mouthing sorries, saying he loved me and it was a mistake. But I pushed him away, crying. Love doesn't hurt like this. Love doesn't betray trust. The collapse came later that night after he left. I sat alone, the apartment echoing with vacancy. All of our laughter, all of the kisses, tainted somehow. I questioned everything, my judgment, my own worth. Was I blind? Too gullible? The pain was genuine, a band of tightness around my heart that would not loosen. I scrolled through our text history, deleting them one at a time, each referring back like ripping out a page from my heart. Friends called and offered their assistance, but I had to experience it all, the burning pain, to move on. It was like grieving a loss, the loss of us, of me who believed in fairy tale relationships. But gradually, with the weeks that passed, the pain forged something new. The closure did not happen in an instant. It pained, step by step. I first reported the advertisement to the app company, charging it with violations of privacy laws. They took it out, apologizing profusely. Jordan's anonymization hadn't been as watertight as he'd thought. I tackled the broader problem, too, learning about internet rights, joining online forums of victims of AI exploitation. It hurt to see how vulnerable we all were in this world of technology, but it was powerful. I started a little blog, blogging anonymously at first, then I started writing under my name. "Your face is yours," I wrote. "Don't let anyone write it away." And Jordan? We parted amicably, no angst, just a final coffee where I said, "I forgive you for my own peace, but I can't forget." He nodded, his eyes brimming with tears, promising to change the way he works. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But me? I emerged stronger, wiser. I brought my camera up again, this time not for likes, but for joy, capturing sunrises that felt like new beginnings. The self-awareness hit on one of those early morning walks. Trust is precious, yet so is my voice. I will not be silenced by fear. This betrayal had not broken me, it had made me stronger, and I learned to guard my heart and my image with ferocious kindness. Phew, that was a lot of information to take in. If you've made it this far with me, thank you for enduring my ramble. Stories like these are a reminder that we're all stumbling through this crazy digital world together, with marvels and pitfalls galore. It's okay to be vulnerable. That's what makes us human. If you've ever experienced something like this, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if this video moved you even a little bit, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that bell.